Hey guys, hope everything is going well. Alrighty, so I want to talk today regarding housing and how I still believe that housing is not a good investment. At least right now, it's not. Even if the Federal Reserve, as I believe, is going to lower interest rates in the coming months ahead, I still believe that if someone's buying a home, they should have a lot of money because it appears that the housing market will contract over the next few years, in my opinion. And I'm not telling you what to do with your own money. This is just me as some guy on YouTube. So you have to remember the great financial crash, 2008, 2009. Housing went nowhere, or housing crashed, and a lot of people were underwater for long periods of time. My mother and we bought a condo. She didn't live with me, but she said that, hey, just buy a condo. Housing market should pick up. I was totally against it, but I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And eventually, some private equity company was buying up all these condos in my apartment complex or condo complex, and I had no choice but to sell to them because they raised assessments one time. So I'm like, I better get out of here before they raise assessments maybe by 10 grand one year. What if that happens? Then I'm at the mercy of whatever moves they make. I'm not a major stakeholder in that building. But they paid me some decent amount. It's like eminent domain, but whatever. Took that money and bought a house in 2017 with my wife, and we bought we paid $10,000 more than the market rate. Eventually, or not eventually, we were offering about 20,000 above spot, but there was issues with the roof, but then we lowered it to about $10,000. So we paid 10,000 over. Everyone was telling me I was an idiot, I was dumb, etc. And then comes the pandemic, and then comes the easy money from the Federal Reserve, and people, it's a surrounding suburb, not mine, but they're paying $40,000, $50,000 more than the market rate. And it's just crazy that people are overbidding. But if you have easy money from the Federal Reserve, people want to park it somewhere. So people definitely, if they flipped, they made a decent amount of money. But a lot of people, they don't flip real estate. It's probably not the best thing to flip real estate because there's a lot of repairs with the homes, right? It's not just, people that I follow. We're taking these sports cards, buying it for thousands of dollars and flipping for tens of thousands of dollars. And eventually some people made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then they eventually struck out because you cannot continue to flip what is an illiquid asset because there's low volume and that is subject to a tremendous amount of volatility. So going back to housing, now we're at a point where the Federal Reserve has aggressively raised interest rates. The 10-year rate is higher, which means that the mortgage rates are also high as well. A lot of things are based off of the 10-year mortgage rate or the 10-year yield, treasury yield. So we're looking at higher interest rates. We're looking at even Blackstone Group, which has another company that buys up properties. They have halted buying up all these homes in many cities. I believe it's going to be 38 cities as of October where they're not going to be buying. that is pretty huge because you had all of these LLCs of these hedge funds, private equity. A lot of it was Blackstone. They were buying up all of these properties, and then that got other people spending ridiculous amounts of money just to get a home, right? Because suppose you live in the city in some of these states where there was chaos and you don't want your kids to grow up around it. So what you do is you move to the suburbs where there's less crime. That's what a lot of people did. And not many homes are available, or there weren't that many homes that are available. Now I see a few homes coming to sale where I live, but usually those sales, those people are easily able to sell their homes because a lot of people are wanting to buy a home, they have a family, and they're willing to overbid the next guy or gal or a couple, whatever. But that being said, I don't believe, first of all, a home is an investment unless maybe you buy it in an area, maybe in Silicon Valley, maybe you bought it 6-7 years ago, and then you're like, okay, I want to move down south where everything's cheaper. You take the money and then you head for the hills, right? Okay, fine. It could be investment if you live in a very cutthroat environment, because that's how it is. The parents make lots of money and they want their kids to be in the best schools, and the kids are just at each other's throats from what I've heard. And now, just looking at the rest of America, where you're not dealing with, Silicon Valley home prices, you're dealing with average prices. Guess what? You continuously need buyers to pump up these homes, these housing prices. And that's going to be hard to do. I look at what happened with sports cards. Sports cards as homes, they're illiquid, in my opinion. And I'll give you the example of Fleer 86 Jordan card. They kept on pumping and pumping and pumping it up. Before the pandemic, it may have been, $40,000-$50,000. And maybe a year or two before that, it was maybe $30,000. And then came the Last Dance documentary. We were all stuck at home. They flooded the money with easy money. Since no sporting games are on, people decided to blow their money on these high-end sports cards. One of them was Fleer 86 Michael Jordan rookie card. Now that's debated whether that's the rookie card or not. But you saw all of this money coming in, and then February and March of last year, you saw a few sales hit $750,000, close to there. And then there weren't enough buyers to keep on propping that market up. I believe the same thing is going to happen with housing. Now, I, once again, view a home as somewhere where you live, not as an investment vehicle, because there's too many repairs with homes. Like, we have to deal with waterproofing issues. And now we have to deal with changing our carpet because we don't know if there's mold there. So you're looking at all of that. A house has so many repairs. And at this moment where housing prices have gone up tremendously throughout America, whether it's in rural America, whether it's in the suburbs, or even parts of the city, home prices are up. And the question is, with that huge run up that you saw from the pandemic to probably a couple of months ago, are you going to get a decent return like that? And I would say no, you're not going to. The time, in my opinion, to buy a home was, like I said, maybe before March of 2020 or early parts of the pandemic. I mean, we bought in 2017, so it's fine. I mean, can I afford My house today? Probably not, because of the depreciation that occurred. Now, suppose the market comes tumbling down. What's going to happen to housing? I would say that housing would take a huge dip because housing was propped up by easy money from the Federal Reserve. Easy money is gone. So, even like I said, you have the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates in the interim. Ultimately, the trend is going to be down, in my opinion. What will probably backs up the housing market is when Blackstone starts buying it up again. And I think that's going to be during the next crash. Elliott Wave guys thinking that 2024 is going to be a crash, and a few others. And I think that's going to be the bottom. One of my buddies, his wife persuades him to buy a home, and he's like, nah, we got to wait. Home prices are overinflated. Even though he could probably afford a house with his wife, but he's like, no, too expensive in his opinion. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment down below, guys. Thank you. Bye.